In this demonstration, we're going to work a little bit with Optimizer statistics. We are on an Oracle Linux 6 box, and I'm logged into my OMS, my Oracle Management Server. We are looking specifically at my target database P site. This is an Oracle 12c Release 1 database. Let's open the Performance menu, come down to SQL. There's a whole bunch of tools here tucked under SQL, obviously, right? I mean, this is a relational database management system in a relational database that uses, let me say it again, the relational model. And we know that SQL, or Structured Query Language, is our de facto database language. Now, why do I mention that? Not to get off into the weeds here, my friend. No, but yes, we have this big data push and this NoSQL push as well. And I'm not taking any sides, just mention it in passing. In our SQL submenu, let's go to Optimizer Statistics. And this page tells us, first of all, what can you do? It tells us that Optimizer statistics are used by the optimizer to choose the best execution plan. And we can view execution plans using PLSQL. We can do it here in Cloud Control. We can also do it with SQL Developer. And when we do SQL tuning sets momentarily, we're going to do that in SQL Developer. There's some excellent tools to get into the tuning wizard and look at execution plans using that tool. I like it a lot, and I want you to at least be familiar with it. Down at the bottom, we get a list, a historical list of past Optimizer job runs. It looks like Oracle has done table-level stats gathering quite a bit over the last several minutes on system tables. In operations, we can gather, restore, lock, unlock, or delete Optimizer statistics. Why would you want to delete them? Well, like I said, stats do fall out of date pretty quickly in OLTP environments where table data is very volatile. And you can always gather them, which we'll step into right now briefly. I just want to show you how this wizard works. You see up at the top, the first thing is developing our scope. Let's say we want to analyze all the objects in the Scott schema, which is part of your sample schemas that you can install optionally. Once we do our scope, it's then looking at the objects that we want to analyze, customize, schedule, and review. Notice that it says options for scope schema. We can do Oracle recommendations, and you can view those by expanding view. Or you can customize options. Oracle is good because it will always offer to do stuff for you automatically using Oracle best practices, which frankly most of the time is a very smart thing to do. But for those DBAs who want the ultimate in control, you have the ability to override. Let's go to the next step. It says this table contains the schemas for which the stats will be gathered. Click Add to add the schemas to the table. I want to add Scott, which like I said is part of the default set. I'll select that in the list. Notice that it says the object selection will be disabled if you don't have sufficient privileges. I'm in here as sys, so I'm good to go. Let's go to the next step. Everything in Cloud Control turns into a job, so we want to be descriptive here. I'm going to leave this alone because I'm the only DBA. You can set this on a schedule. You see what I'm saying? Predefined schedule. You can use maintenance windows, which we'll talk about a couple lessons from now. You can do a calendar schedule. We have our time zone, repetition, and we can schedule this to run at a particular date and time or immediately. And I'll just submit it as an immediate job. No reason not to. Now, Show SQL. Please take advantage of the Show SQL option, would you? Look what this is doing. You could have done this via an anonymous PLSQL block with 10 seconds or less of typing. DBMS stats, we're using the method gather schema stats. There's a method for tables, for indexes, whatever you want. In this case, for schema stats, we have a couple parameters. The owner name is Scott, and we're just going to do an automatic stats gathering. Let's click Return and Submit. Pretty easy. I don't want to say that Optimizer statistics maintenance is set it and forget it. You want to be aware of what Oracle is set to do right now. You want to verify that there is something set up for gathering stats on a regular basis, and you may want to tweak that job interval depending upon the volatility of your data.